Exercise Roman numeral 10, E, in review lesson 10 was Roman numeral. We are supposed to take the phrase in bold print and decide which of these three things would substitute for it, would have the same meaning. Number one, this present active participle says somebody, we don't know who it is, but one person, fighting in Gaul. This phrase has a future active participle about to fight in Gaul. He's not fighting yet. It's not the same thing. This one says who was fighting in Gaul. This is a relative clause, imperfect tense verb. And this one says they fought in Gaul. B is the correct answer because one person fighting in Gaul. Here's one person who was fighting in Gaul. Sentence number 2. The bold print says, having crossed, this is a plural bunch of people, having crossed over from Britain to Gaul. Sentence A says, or phrase A says, who will cross from Britain to Gaul. Conjugative is a future tense of a third conjugation verb. B says, about to cross over from Britain to Gaul. C says, who had crossed over from Britain to Gaul. So this having crossed over from Britain to Gaul tells about something somebody did before something else happened. This tells about a future thing. This tells about a future about to cross over. This one, C, is the one who says these folks who had crossed from this area to that area, having crossed from Britain to Gaul. Sentence number 3. The Gauls having been conquered and their ships having been made ready or having been prepared. All right, this one says since or when the Gauls had been conquered and their ships had been prepared. This one says, and is obviously accusative, about to conquer the Gauls and about to prepare the ships. This is one fellow who's doing it, about to conquer and about to prepare, masculine, nominative, singular. E says conquering the Gauls and preparing the ships. Up here we have said that the Gauls are already conquered, having been conquered, and the ships have already been prepared. The only one that gives those actions, the conquering and the preparing, in the past time is when or since the Gauls had been conquered and the ships had been prepared. Sentence number 4, or phrase number 4, says, nevertheless, the soldiers about to set out, future active participle. This sentence says, nevertheless, the soldiers having set out. This one says, nevertheless, the soldiers who intended, had it in mind, to set out. And this one says, nevertheless, the soldiers who had set out. The closest one is B, the soldiers who intended, had it in mind, to set out. Nevertheless, the soldiers about to set out. About the same idea. These folks with the perfect passive participle, profectes, have already set out. Profecturi says we're about to. We haven't done it yet. Same thing here. Profecti essent had set out. Those are the soldiers who had set out, already done. This one says not time to do it yet. Sentence number 5. Since the ships had almost been destroyed by the storm. A, the ships almost, the storm almost destroying the ships, the storm almost destroying the ships, present active participle, modifying tempestate, same case, ablative, same number, singular, same gender, feminine. Sentence B says, because the ships had almost been destroyed by the storm. Quod means because. Sentence number C says, the ships almost having been destroyed by the storm. All right, which one fits this one the best? Since the ships had almost been destroyed by the storm. Probably number C is your best choice here. The ships almost having been destroyed by the storm. Pretty close to the same idea. Here we bring the present participle in. The storm almost destroying, it's doing that right now. That won't do. It's almost they have been. And number B is because the ships were almost destroyed by the storm. This is causal, and I think this is more circumstantial. Sentence number C says, although they wounded many of the Romans, and it's supposed to say, many of the Romans having been wounded, about to wound many of the Romans, and the one you can't see, I don't know what the one you can't see is, but the closest one is going to be C of these two. Although they wounded, whoever they were, many of the Romans. Then here it says many Romans having been wounded.